Never been easier. You just throw on some headphones and you just get lost and you just go.
Gosh, I think I've been running since actually middle school. I think it was my first formal race was a 5K. It was in middle school. It was a little fun run, fundraiser thing, and I think that's kind of where I got hooked. I always liked to run. I was always really good at it. So it didn't surprise me when I got later on in life and started wanting to run more competitively, do some actual races and all that. And then probably around 2000, yeah, it was 2000, I decided to do my first marathon. That went pretty well. Then I got the fever to qualify for Boston Marathon. So the next year I trained even harder, injured out that year. Ended up qualifying for Boston a couple years after that, and then went on to do 7 or 8 other marathons, a couple ultras. So it's been all that. Gosh, I've had stress fractures. I've had shin splints. I've had blisters. I pulled almost every muscle there is to pull. I don't know. There's a freedom involved when you're out there and running, and especially on the trails. When you just got you and nature cruising along through that single track, it's a freedom. It's a mental getaway from whatever you got going on at work or school or wherever else. You can just get away. Your mind can just relax and just cruise. And pretty soon the miles are just ticking by and you don't even know it. And I think that's the real runner's high. When you can get running along and you go 3 or 4 miles and you don't even realize how far you've gone. That means your mind is just relaxed, everything's gotten smooth, and you're just cruising. Yeah, that's why I run, for individually. But there's also a social aspect of running too. Running's a great thing to do with friends. I've been accused of talking people's ears off when I run, just because, again, I think your mind and just gets in a place where you can just relax and have a good time and talk and enjoy yourself. That's why I think the large races are so popular, because it's kind of a social game and birds of a feather flock together. Everybody's out there having a good time doing what they want to do. Sometimes it's tough. Sometimes it's hard to get the mattress off your back. It'd be a lot easier to just lay in bed or sit around, have a cup of coffee. But I start out by just doing one thing at a time. Get your running clothes on. Get your shoes on. Step out the door. And once you're out the door, you can start running, and just take it small steps, because that's the right brain, left brain conflict. You're not always going to want to jump up and go out and go running, and so it's just one thing at a time. Put your clothes on, put your shoes on, get out the door. Once you get running, then it's easy, and then it's always fun once you get back. I've never got done with a run and come back and said, I wish I'd have never gone. Every run is, man, I'm glad I finally got out the door and I got on that run. It's really worth it. Yeah, sometimes it's painful. It isn't all unicorns and rainbows and butterflies. It's cold sometimes, it's rainy sometimes, snowy sometimes, but it's all right. It's all worth it in the end. It's got to be that feeling, the endorphins, and how you feel afterwards, and then the crazy cool stuff you get to see when you're out there cruising through the trails or even on the roads. I don't ever see me stopping.
Why should you run when you don't feel like it? I started running when I was younger, probably in middle school, and I joined the track team for the high school. I did track and cross country for the high school, and I did that for a little while, and I was a pretty decent runner, but so I ran quite a lot while I was in the military.
Did you hate it when you were in the military?
No. I was one of the best, so I liked it, because I'm not a competitive person at other things, but I am when it comes to running. So when I can beat people.
Right.
When I am running, I come into a weird mental space. It's almost like when you're reading a book and you start hallucinating almost about what in the book, and you start a story in your mind, and even you forget that you're reading. It's kind of like that. I just go off into another place and just start daydreaming, and I forget that I'm running. It's just you versus you. You don't have to race, you just run, and you're just versus yourself. You're just pushing yourself to get to the top of the hill before you get too tired, before your legs get too tired. You're trying to win a race against yourself. There's nobody else out there, and you can just run. Try and beat yourself. Try to get to that top of the hill as fast as you can. And there's no one there to watch you or judge you. You're just running. The best feeling is getting done. Just when you end, and your heart's racing, your muscles are tired, you're breathing hard, and you stop, and it's just like you get a rush of endorphins that you're done, and you made it to the top of that hill, or you did that run, you got up early, and you faced the cold, and then you get back, and the feeling when you get back, when you just completed something like that, it's you can't replicate it. It's hard to explain. Where you go, you don't want to go while you're running. It can suck too, but then you get done, and you're so glad you did it. Blood pressure, working your lungs, getting them to work harder than they usually do, just sitting around or whatever you do. But I mean, it's just mentally, it's just healthy for you. It's healthy for the mind, and for get the blood flowing, get your heart pounding, the lungs working. There's nothing bad about it for you. And I think that's why you need to run when you don't want to.